Hello everyone, welcome to the fourth stream in a series of streams on my game for the Brackeys Game Jam. So I'm currently working on I'm working on some level design because before it was kind of cramped and short, so it can actually make sense to have music because it was so short that you would finish the level before the song barely even got started. And apparently my danger is higher up on the order and layer than my terrain. And we'll just leave this at a 0 and put terrain as a 1. Paint this. Basically, I'm just doing some terrain painting. I think this is going way better than it was yesterday, and actually, I think I'm going to modify the jump. So, hold on a second. Let's get into modifying the jump. Really, we're just going to make it jump less high. Actually, that's not something you modify in here. So, let's go on to the player. Actually, no, let's go into game. Open this. Go in player. Make it a 7, maybe? Let's play this. Anyways, I've been working on a couple things like the physical material. I'm making this a little bit less full of friction, so the player can actually move without feeling super limited moving. Because before it kind of just stops weirdly. Anyways, we'll go to the player, I think. We're gonna open it up again, go into player. Let's modify some more variables. Speed cap. Let's make it a 5. Speed increase rate, 60. Make this an actual challenge. Okay, so let's actually get to painting some of this stuff in. Just kind of paint this up here. go right up to the lava. It'll be like lava. And of course, the active tile map has to be danger on X. So now I need to redraw all of that. Okay, so let's build out this area just to make it not look like there's absolutely nothing here. Hold on a second. Okay, we're back. Let's quickly get this back into action. Now this spot, oh, okay. This spot isn't necessarily required to be like painted nicely, but you know what? Why not? The real question is why am I having so many performance dips? Hold on a second, I'll check on it and see what's going on. Okay, so I can't really find out why I'm having these performance issues, but you know what? I can deal with it. Weird how it's going the wrong direction. Anyways. Maybe it's like performance dips due to my laptop's crappy cooling. Anyways. Okay. Looks kind of like a level. Let's play it. Okay, so apparently because of the collision, you can't have things like that. I can work with that. It's kind of obnoxious, but I can work with that. Erase all of that. Erase all of that. Paint all of this in. Let's play. Maybe we'll just put in some weird little thing to trip up the player right here. You know, it's not a great level, and in fact it's pretty terrible. But then again, I'm also not a level designer, and I've never have been. So I'd say this is actually pretty good. That's my personal opinion. And the problem is, the playtesters in my house don't, by that I mean my family, they don't really play video games, so I can't Well, one does, but pretty much nothing, and the other one plays not really good games, in my opinion. They aren't good games. Not really a broad spectrum of games, it's just one type of game. Okay? Okay, this seems to be going pretty good. I should patch this up, because that's not a nice line, but now it is. So I've learned a lesson from this. Don't use rigid body 2D because it's really terrible. Sure, it'll work in some cases, but in this case, it's really terrible. The friction is all wonky and bad, so I'm going to next time use a player controller 2D or create my own custom player controller garbage stuff. I don't know how I would do that, but this obviously doesn't work either. Is there a player character controller? Does it have a 2D version, or is there not a character controller 2D? Okay, that is not what I wanted to do. Go away, please. You know what, let's just look through this stuff, because some of this stuff is pretty interesting. What if I just did some, you know, this is pretty cool. Oh, but I would like to do some physics experiments. So hold on a second. I just want to take a break from this and do some weird physics experiments in Unity. See what I can do with it. Okay, I'm back and I have just a little world thing that I can do experiments in. So let's just pull out a quick terrain. Actually, you know what? Forget the terrain. We're just gonna do a 3D plane. Good enough for me. Contribute to global illumination. Three, three, three. Baked. Mixed. Windows, rendering, lighting. Create a new custom lighting settings. We're gonna call it lighting. Okay, it looks somewhat good. And it's gonna bake the global illumination. And everything is gonna magically look better. Yeah, let's just put the lighting in here. Run the inspector. I usually do that. Interesting how, whatever. Anyways, let's get some things in here. Just create a couple cubes. Really appreciate it, Unity, if you don't like randomly place them in the middle of nowhere for some reason. Should place this cube up here. And place this cube. That's why. Make it not selectable. There we go. Now I can move this cube. Okay. So let's create a physics. What kind of joint would I put on here? Rigid body, don't use gravity. Make another cube. And this is like the cube that I'm going to use to mess around, so we're going to just call it rigid body. Use gravity. Is kinematic. And let's play. Interesting. Make this top one kinematic. You can just smash it around. You know what would be more fun? The main camera had a sphere collider. Give it a rigid body, made it kinematic, and added, what is a built-in script? Simple camera controller. Continuous dynamic. This is gonna be so fun to mess around with. Because it's like you're just hitting things around. Okay, and now I'm gonna create a custom cube. We're gonna call it string. We're gonna create a new C# script, and we're gonna call it string controller. And we're gonna just quick write a program. We're gonna call it. We have a couple transforms. One we're gonna call it obj1. We're just gonna call this one obj2. Now I need to find so in the middle, we're gonna do so we get the middle between these, and that should be good enough for at least putting it between them. We add the string controller to the string. Delete this cube, call it nothing, and then we're gonna just drag this cube in, and then this cube in, and then hopefully it should work. Yeah. Okay. Oops, wrong thing. Transform dot rotation equals quaternion dot rotate towards uh uh transform dot look at obj1 dot position, type that in, Oh, hello. This is supposed to be part of the Brackeys Game Jam, but I'm just experimenting around because I'm bored and I'd honestly like to have some time doing not as boring stuff. Well, it's not boring, it's just not necessarily fun to do 100% of the time, so I'm taking a break and just messing around with Unity physics by creating a string that goes between a spring and an object and the thing. Okay, so transform.scale. Might want to let me interesting how it won't let me set the scale directly. Guess we'll set the local scale to local scale equals new vector 3 0.2f comma, and we're gonna get vector 3 dot distance, and then we're gonna do 0.2 f. Then we're gonna get the distance between obj1 dot position and obj2 dot position. This will basically just set the scale so it will actually extend out to fit it, and it might be as twice as long as it. Cool. Yeah, making a player movement script from memory. Are you talking about like an FPS character movement script or a 2D character movement script? Because if it's 2D, then it's pretty simple. If it's FPS, then it's getting a little bit more tricky. I'm currently just using the camera controller that comes by default with a brand new Unity project. When you do, what's it called? Yeah, I forgot what it's called. I think I remember it being, yeah, it's the Universal Render Pipeline. Yes, perfect. And that's causing an issue because the string has collision and it really shouldn't. And now, oh, you're trying to do 3D? That's going to be a bit more complex. I recommend tutorials for that, but yeah, we have a little string going between now. You want to make this way more fun? And doing this in VR. But I have always struggled with getting VR to work with Unity, and in fact, recently I've been having even more struggles where it's not even where Oculus isn't even detecting that I have Unity open. Oh, I forgot I had to turn something on before it would do that. Anyways, I have a little string. On X and Z axis? Oh, well, yeah, that should actually be pretty simple. Great. Then you don't have to memorize all the weird all the weird transformations that you have to do for camera movement. Should be pretty simple, so, I don't know why, but you want help with that real quick? Because I can just show you it. I mean, I could add velocity and we could make the character have movement and things like that. So I think I'll just do that right now for fun, because it's pretty simple. Anyways, we're gonna call it box mover, just a script called box mover. It's pretty strange script. Well, it's not strange, but it's not special. Set to continuous dynamic for great physics detection, well, collision detection. And let's get right into moving this dude around. Oops, wrong button. Let's quickly, first we need to get this, we need to create a variable to contain the rigid body. So we create a private rigid body, we're going to name it RB. Sorry, I'm trying to do this, but the fancy stuff of the editor is trying to correct me, even though it shouldn't. And then we're going to set RB to game object, which is referencing the game object that the script is attached to. That get component, so we're getting a component in the game object. Then we're going to get the component type rigid body. And since there only is one, then it'll just grab specifically that one. And then we're gonna do some keyboard input. So float, which means it can have decimal points up to a certain value. X, which will be our X movement speed, and then we're gonna put in here input.get axis, and then we're gonna get the axis horizontal, which is in reference to your A and D keys. I'm just using Shift Home, by the way, to select all of the entire line instantly. We're going to create a new line, paste what we had before, except this time it should be Y because we're going on the Y axis, and vertical because we're going vertically. Now, this should actually, well, actually, no, it should be Z because that's the other axis that you're moving on. So now, we're going to access rb.velocity, which is the current speed and direction that your character is moving. So we're going to create a new vector 3, and then we're going to input x for the x velocity, 0 for the y velocity, because we don't want it, well actually no, we want to get rb.velocity.y so we don't affect its y velocity, and the last one we put z, and that's it. But of course we need to do a couple things first. Step 1, let's create a, oh thanks, let's create a public float, and let's call it speed. I'm going to set it to, I don't know, 20 by default, and then we in here, we multiply it by speed. Should type that out correctly, and now it should actually work. So let's go back to the editor, and now if I just let's disable the camera real quick because disable the camera and create a new one, because we should have because that camera has a custom script that'll move when you press something, so you don't want that. And then we parent, then we make the camera a child of the cube. And then we click these 3 buttons and we reset the position, so now it's at the same position as the cube. Now we can move it up, move it backwards, then we press E to go into rotation, rotate it along the x-axis, and now it's looking at the cube. And now, just to make it more visible, do material, we're going to call it red because it's going to be red, and just turn down the smoothness, just make it slightly nicer to look at. And now if we click play, there might be some, yeah, there's something that you also need to do when you're working with this. Freezing rotation on all axes so it doesn't start rolling around, because it simulates rotation too. So now can move around the cube. Now, there's much better ways to do this, but this works, and you can hit the cube that's on a string, too. So, that was just my quick physics experiment stuff, so let's go back to the actual game. Be right back when I have my actual game back up that I've been making. Okay, we're back in my game. So this level has been set up nicely. Next level I won't accidentally make a terrible level, but I guess I'll go to the main menu and let's test it out from the beginning. Just make sure it's all nice and working. Click play. I need to revamp these tiles that I'm using for the ground, because right now they look pretty bland. I'm thinking I'm gonna do the same thing as I did the lava. With the little gray dots, I'm gonna make it darker on the bottom and lighter on the top. Just because it gives the illusion of depth, and it actually looks pretty good, I think. Have to fix that too. Yeah, I have Discord. They don't really give it out though. Let's actually turn down the volume next game. I mean, I guess I could give you some kind of like, I don't know, maybe try something. Okay, I have to pause for a second because I have to check on something. Sure, I guess, maybe. An imaginary earthquake that I just made up for a reason that I need to leave right now. Uh, sure, why not? Hold on a second. There's a temporary Discord server link. It's gonna expire in 1 hour, and you're the only person that can use it. So, just use it quick. And then, I don't know, maybe we'll talk sometime. I am going to head out to, because of my earthquake that I made up right now, because it's imaginary, obviously, made it up, because the earth's not shaking. Yeah, I'm gonna go because of that totally, definitely real, not at all fake, definitely real earthquake. I hope everyone enjoyed the stream or the video, depending on when you watch it. Please like and subscribe, and I'll see you on the next stream or video, depends on when, and